Hi, what I have here on the workbench today is a BSIDE U0 clamp meter. Well, it's a little bit unusual. As you can see here, it doesn't have a typical current clamp. Instead, you have this U-shaped jaw area that you can fit a wire through for current measurement. This design is actually quite convenient as you don't have to open and close the jaw. Of course, with an open jaw like this, the current measurement accuracy will probably be impacted somewhat, as the magnetic field is no longer enclosed. And we'll have to take a look at that in just a minute. Banggood sent in this meter for me to review. If you take a look at Banggood's website though, you will see that it is actually sold under the Mustool brand. But if you take a look at the label on the meter itself, you will see, I'm not sure how well it shows up, you'll see it is clearly marked as BSIDE. So I'm not sure if there's a typo on Banggood's website. But regardless, the brand name is probably not going to be that important here, as we have seen again and again that a lot of these Chinese products with the same hardware design are often sold under different brand names. Anyway, spec-wise, there's nothing extraordinary, but it doesn't have to, considering this is just an inexpensive $18 meter. It has 4,000 counts and can measure voltages up to 610 volts, current up to 100 amps, and resistance up to 40 megaohms, as you can see on the spec sheet here. It can also do non-contact voltage detection and live wire check, which I will demonstrate in just a moment. This meter is powered by a built-in rechargeable lithium-ion battery. To recharge the meter, you will have to remove the cap back here. Let me just show you here. And then it will expose the USB connector. As you can see, once you unscrew the cover, you will have to make sure you don't lose the cap. I can see the cap getting lost very easily. It would be nice if it is connected to the case somehow. It can be done very easily. Just add a string of some sort here and attach to the case. I just don't know why the designer chose not to do it. Let me put it back before I lose it. Another minor gripe I have is that the banana jacks for the input leads are of the same color. As you can see here, they're both black. Of course, you could just check the label printed on the top side here, but it would be nice to follow the convention here, which they're not doing that. Instead of using a dial, we have a few buttons here. If you look at the rubber buttons, you will see that they're actually curved. I think this may actually be of ergonomic reasons, as when you're holding the meter this way, your thumb would be pressing down on these buttons perpendicular to the button's surface. So besides the couple minor issues I pointed out a moment ago, I actually like the overall design. It is really sturdy and feels more premium than what the price tag suggests. Anyway, let me remove the screen protector and power it on. It seems it's stuck here. And you can see the display is actually quite bright. By default, it boots into this automatic measurement mode. If you want to just measure current, you can press the current button here. It will change to current. Of course, you have to zero it out by press and hold this button. Let's actually test out the DC current measurement. For that, I'm going to set my power supply output limit to 10 amps, and I will use the unity meter to monitor the output current as a comparison. So let me actually do that. Alright, let me enable the power supply output. And you can see we're currently reading 10 amps, give or take. And that's our reference. So let me use this meter to measure the current. And you can see here we're measuring about 10 amps, give or take. There's some variation here, so let me measure the other way around. The measurement speed is not the fastest, and according to the manual is about 2 times per second. And you can see that we're roughly reading 10 amps. No problem. And of course, depends on how you place the wire, the reading might be a little bit different. And this is what we mentioned earlier about the potential pitfall of using this kind of open jaw design. As you have to place the wire all the way down, otherwise you will not get an accurate current measurement here. As you can see, for example, if I put it on the side here, you will see that the current is only 3.5, 3.4 amps. But if I press it all the way down, and it's reading pretty close. If you take a look at a traditional clamp meter, you will see that once the jaw is closed, let me just do that. Of course, I have already zeroed it out, and I can move the wire around, and it doesn't really impact the reading, and that's because the magnetic field is enclosed here. In the case of this BSIDE 0, obviously the jaw is open, so we unfortunately don't have that enclosed magnetic field. So you have to be very careful when you are measuring the current, otherwise you will not get an accurate result. So this is really just by design. There's nothing wrong with this meter. While you get the convenience factor, you do need to pay attention to how the wire is placed in order to get accurate readings. Alright, now let's take a look at AC current measurement. For that, I'm hooking up this Kaiwitz as a reference here, and we're measuring the current consumption of a heater. So let me power it down. And you can see we're drawing roughly 2 amps from the readings on the Kaiwitz. So let's actually do that with this U0 here. So obviously we have some variance here. So let's, because we have some offset. I thought it was 2 amps. It's actually 3 amps. So let's just take it off. And you can see we're showing roughly 3 amps, no problem. And the other way, 2.9 amps. So there's definitely still a little bit of offset, but you can see that we are measuring the current with no problem here. While we still have this power strip out here, let's take a look at the non-contact voltage detection here. So for that, I'm going to press this button, and you can see right now the sensitivity is low. Let's take a look. Okay, no problem. Can we detect a wire? No. So that's low sensitivity. This is a live wire here. You can see that that's not a problem. So let's change the sensitivity to high here. Let's see if we notice any difference. Yeah, definitely it made the difference here. You can see that. Very nice. And can we test here? Yeah, we can detect from outside the power strip as well now. Very good. Besides the non-contact voltage detection, this meter can also detect live wire. So let's take a look here. So you press it again, you can see it's live. Now, how this works is you actually have to plug in a lead here. So let's take a look at the supplied leads. These leads look very nice actually. Let me untwist these. So you can see they're relatively soft, and these are straight banana plugs. I really like that as it will plug in flush with the meter here. This meter, by the way, is Cat 3 rated, so that's why you get this shrouded measurement tip here. Of course, let's remove that. Now, in order for us to verify whether or not this meter is indeed rated for Cat 3, we will have to open it up later to see if the meter itself has sufficient protection circuitry. Anyway, so let's see if we can use this to detect live wire. So this is neutral, no problem. This is live. You can see that we're able to detect the live wire with no problem. I don't know about you, but I actually like this feature. Of course, a $2 voltage tester pen would do the same thing, but the difference here is that you only need the single device. And if you long press this last button here, you'll see that we also have this flashlight, and that will come in handy, I suppose, if you're working in a dark area. Because we only have a single auto detection range for measuring voltage, resistance, and continuity, we potentially could run into some issues with low voltage and low resistance. And right now you can see that's exactly the problem. Right now I have a 0.1 volt voltage coming in, and you can see we're actually showing as 103 kilo ohms. So obviously this is not correct, but this is actually quite common for meters with this single automatic range. So although this meter has a 1 millivolt resolution in low voltage ranges, you just can't go down that far because it will not show up as voltage measurement. And this issue is not unique to this meter. It's just the implementation of this kind of a multiplexed measurements. And the meter gets confused when the measured results are ambiguous. Anyway, so right now let's increase the voltage and see at what point we are able to start measure as voltage again. 0.2, nope. You can see we're still measuring resistance. 3, 4, 0.5, still resistance, 0.6, nope, 7, and now we're not able to measure anything anymore, 8, 9, so somewhere around 0.8, 0.9 volts, that's where we start recognizing that's a voltage. So let's change it to 1 volt, and we'll take a quick look at how accurate this meter is. Alright, right now we're outputting 1 volt. You can see that is pretty much spot on. So let's do 2 volts. 3. The update speed is a little bit slow. 4. 5. Because it's a 4,000 counts meter, you can see that now we lose 1 digit. 6. 7. 8. There's definitely a half a second delay in terms of the update here, and that is due to the slow update rate of this meter. 9, 10. So as you can see, the measurement accuracy is fairly decent. Now let's try out the continuity test. Because this meter doesn't have a dedicated continuity test button, so I would suspect it's going to be pretty slow, as it has to automatically detect whether or not you're in resistance mode or in voltage mode or in current mode for that matter. So let's take a quick look here. Yeah, you can see that definitely there is at least a 0.2 seconds delay here. And also it's quite sluggish, but that's pretty much what we expected. Now let's take a look at measuring a resistor here. So the first resistor I have is our usual 100 ohm precision resistor. Yeah, the content is not that great, but when you measure it correctly, you can see that it is in the ballpark. So let's take a look at a 1K resistor. Not a problem. Actually, the auto ranging is pretty fast. And you notice that we actually don't have a diode mode, so we're not able to measure diode. Actually, let's give it a try. Let's actually use a silicon diode to see if we can measure a diode. And keep in mind, we don't have a diode range, so I would expect it would show up as a resistor here. And indeed, we're showing as a resistor, so let's measure the other way around. Nope. Okay, so how about a red LED? No, looks like we're not able to measure a red LED, so I don't think it will be able to measure a white LED at all, but let's just take a look. Yep, this is to be expected, as we don't have a dedicated diode range. I just realized that on Banggood's website, this meter was advertised as a true RMS meter, but when I combed through the user manual, there was no mentioning of true RMS anywhere. So I think what I'm going to do is to verify whether or not this meter gives true RMS readings. And that's simple enough to verify. To do that, I'm going to use a signal generator. And here I have my UTG962E outputting a 1 volt signal RMS at 100 Hz. Right now it is set to a sinusoidal, so we'll use this as a reference. And we should get 1 volt reading here. So let's give it a go. As you can see, the reading essentially is 1 volt. So now let me change it to a different waveform. So let's come here, and if I change it to a square wave, if it is not a true RMS meter, it will not show 1 volt. But you can see here we're actually measuring 1 volt, no problem. So let's actually change it to, let's say, a ramp signal. And you see that we're essentially still measuring 1 volt. So this is definitely a true RMS meter. I have to say that it is a little bit unusual that the manual did not actually advertise the fact that this is a true RMS meter. Just to show you what the readings look like with a non-true RMS meter, here I brought out my BSIDE ACM03 Plus, and this one is not a true RMS meter. So let's hook it up and let's take a look at the reading here. For the same ramp signal, you can see we're reading 0.957. Now that is a little bit off, but it's not that off. So let's actually change the waveform to square wave. And now you can see, because this is not a true RMS meter, we're reading roughly 1.1 volt, whereas a true reading should be close to 1 volt RMS. Anyway, this is how you can test whether your meter is true RMS or not. Alright, that's pretty much all the functions I want to test here, so let me power it off and let's open it up. Before you look at the circuitry, I just want to show you the current consumption here. So let me power it on. And you can see it's actually only drawing about 70 milliamps. So that's actually quite decent. Now, I don't know what the capacity of the enclosed battery is, but it probably will be somewhere around 300 milliamps. That's just my guess given the size here. So let me change it to different ranges. So this is the current range. It definitely seems that current range is more power hungry than the other ranges. So you can see this is the current range, and I can change it to automatic. And current consumption in automatic mode is lower here. Anyway, that's good to know. And here is a closer look of the circuit board. I just removed this LED connector here as it's in the way. So up here, that's our current sensor. You can see that. Since this is both a AC and DC current meter, I'd assume there is a Hall effect sensor somewhere in there. But of course, we're not able to see from this angle. But that's our current sensing section. And here we have two of these ETM 792s. I'm not entirely sure what these are, but just given the location, I'm assuming these are probably some general purpose op amps. And here's a buzzer, and unfortunately the DMM is a chip on board, so we don't know what that is. And here is our PCB version. It's version 1.2. And up here, that's a USB-C connector, and here is a TC4056A, which is a battery charger chip. And that's pretty much all there is on this board. And you can see we don't have any protection in this area, and certainly there's nothing on the other side of the board. And you can definitely see there's no through holes, so there's no PDCs or MOVs on the other side either. And clearly, this will not meet your Cat 3 requirements. But for Cat 1 measurement, I think this should be good enough. So overall, for the price range of under $18, I think this meter is actually okay for what it is. Sure, it's not a precision meter by any means, but it's cheap and fairly well built. Given that it doesn't have any moving parts, I expect it to be a little bit more rugged, and you can certainly toss it in your tool bag. It really doesn't take that much space. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you liked the video, please remember to give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. Your participation makes videos like this possible. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.